Yep, that was it. Yep, that was it. That was
That
it.
was it. All right. Well, welcome to the show. I really appreciate it. It's going to be a really fascinating journey. Um, let's start in 1985. All right. The 12s. And, I posted about 4 hours ago those top 10 rankings and what a group that was in 1985. Now, before we get into that, I want to know where you were living and who you were training with. I believe you were in Pembroke Pines in the 12s. Do I have that right?
Yes,
Okay.
actually, very good. I mean, I'll lead this conversation, Brian, with I wish you were my agent growing up, and we would be at Wimbledon now if that were true.
I would love it. We be
Yeah.
there together.
Yeah. I grew up in Pembroke Pines, and Steve Rayner
Yeah.
was one of my coaches growing up. Jim Dempsey,
Okay.
who was my first coach, ran into him actually last month at the USPTA convention. He was a superstar. And then Steve Rayner in Pembroke Pines, and then eventually George Paris
Sure.
and Pierre Arnold,
Sure.
Tom Parks.
Yep.
They're all kind of with the same group: George, Pierre, and Tom.
Well, I guess that when George Pierre were together, Tom may have left and then slips in Carlos Alvarado. Do I have that right?
I think you do. That's a good memory. I
I have
think
a
you
good
do.
memory. Well, I'm
Yeah.
7, 8 years perhaps behind you, but a lot of the same circles at Sunrise, following you in the late 80s, early 90s myself. But let's go back to 85, and it's Tommy Ho as
Yes.
the number one guy. For those that don't know this, Tommy Ho plays Ivan Barron at the state closed finals, the clay court Nats in Winston-Salem, and the hard court Nats in the 12s. Now, the 12s national is very foreign to me because we didn't have that in my age group. It started in the 14s. What I could not find is who won that hard courts match. Did you get Tommy, or did he sweep you there? I think we lost your audio. Let's see. Still, I can't hear you. I can't. No. Let's see if we lost his audio for a second. Everything was working out great, but the audio of Ivan is currently not there. Although he may not be there. He may have gotten a phone call. So let's go ahead and cut him
Hey,
loose.
hey,
There,
gotcha.
there you go. You're
We're
good.
good.
Did you get a phone
Hey,
call?
I got an alert saying
Okay.
better.
You're better now. I can hear you. I wasn't able to hear you earlier, so now I can hear you. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to Tommy Ho. He got you in the state closed finals. He got you in the clay court finals. What happened in that hard court nationals?
All right. Well, Tommy and I were pretty much 1 and 2 for a very long time,
Correct.
and I would say if we played 10 times, I maybe beat him once or twice,
Okay.
and the second time might have been in a dream. I don't remember.
Very humble of you.
So yeah, we had battles. I mean, it always went the distance or two tight tiebreak sets. Uh, he was a solid player.
This is 85, but like I was alluding to, you may not have heard me during the audio issue that I've never seen or heard of this before. Tommy Ho and Ivan Baird played in the finals of the FTA State Closed that year, the Clay Court Nationals that year, and the Hard Court Nationals finals that year. Do I have that right?
You might have. I'll tell you, honestly, I don't remember. I know we played in the finals many times.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I know I lost to him at Fort Lauderdale, the finals of Clays,
Okay. Yeah.
in 3 sets.
Yeah.
Hard courts, I did lose to him in San Diego in the pit
Okay.
in 3 sets. I mean, we just battled. We were always top in the country, top in the state, obviously. We ran into each other a few times this year.
Okay.
I chair the National Junior Competition Committee, and he's treasurer of the USGA board.
Okay. Very nice. And his son, I believe, is going to be playing for.
I don't know, but he's playing our Clay Court Nationals coming up this weekend.
Very nice.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going though, but he could be.
And we'll talk about that later. I'd love to talk about your involvement with the Clay Nats. All right, so we'll stay in 1985. I'm going to go over this 12s group real quick for the folks that are watching. Tommy Ho is ranked 1. Ivan Barron is 2. Ivan Spinner from Boca Raton. Boca Raton native, Spanish River High School, number 3. Colby Carrera, 4. Brett Stern, 5. Chris Presley, 6. A guy named Matt Klein, 7. I don't know of him. 8. David Witt, heck of a player. 9. John Goldfarb, Boca Raton native. And another Boca Raton native. I'm a Boca guy, so I get excited when I hear Boca. A guy by the name of Vinny
Sure.
Spadia finished number 10. So
yeah, you're talking a great list. It's
unbelievable.
I mean, everyone was a top, I'd say 25 in the country, easy, top 20 if not. Brett Stern was one of my best buddies growing up.
Okay.
We actually had dinner 2 nights ago.
No kidding.
Yeah, we're still, I mean, best of friends.
That's amazing.
Spinner, obviously from Boca, Spadia, Boca. Spadia was a year younger than I was, so
Yep.
and like Brian Dunn,
Yep.
a year younger. But David Witt and I also, we were kind of going back and forth, winning and losing between the two of us. We were always ranked high. We always pushed each other, which is why we got better.
It's an amazing group. Is there anything that resonates from that first time competing in the 12s with all those great players in '85? Obviously, I'm not going to go over, hey, what happened at the designated, but anything that you can remember from the 12s?
I'll tell you, it even started with the 10s, going back a step,
Okay.
where my first national event, I played in Port Washington, New York.
New York, yeah.
And first national event, I mean, I had no clue. I just love playing tennis. Rankings, I could care less. I just was fortunately very good and would always work harder, I would say, than anyone, because after our grinding workouts, I'd come home and I'd do more on my own. I'd
Wow.
jump rope outside, I'd run around the block, and I liked doing that because no one knew I was doing that.
Right.
So I got to the finals of Port Washington, played Ivan Spinner, and won. So I won my first national event at 10, and then from then it really just kept going. Steve Parks also played a ton. He's a great guy. It all kind of intermingled where all the years just kind of merged together where
Yeah.
you had such a great group of guys going to the designated, like you said, traveling. I remember going in, we had a big brown van and couldn't wait to see some buddies hanging out in the hotel before and after matches.
Yeah.
We were very lucky that we had a great group of players, let alone guys. The guys were great, but we all pushed each other really to kick each other's ass.
Yeah. And you had the presence of mind at such a young age to do those things, as you alluded to, after tennis, where nobody, and you said you didn't want anybody to know you were doing that. And that's just the making already of an incredible player to do that. 10 years old, I don't remember what I was doing at 10 years old, but it wasn't jumping rope after I was playing. I can tell you that. I was probably worried about the movies or whatever back in 1990 for me. Let's go now to the 14s. And you've already mentioned at the Clay Court Nationals in your backyard, you faced Tommy Ho at the Tennis Club of Lauderdale. Obviously, a tough Clay Court Finals loss. It seems like Ho in 87 to 89 just was the guy in Florida. I mean, I don't think anybody really topped his ranking in his age group. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I mean, we were literally 1 and 2.
Yeah,
It
every
was,
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going into every tournament, even first year 12s, we were top 10.
Yep.
And then second year 12s, second year 14s, we were 1 and 2, getting to the finals of almost every national event.
Yeah.
We just happened to be from the same state.
Yeah.
And, he had the lefty serve with Rick Macy. I had George Paris. It was a little, I mean, this is a little extreme with the whole Rocky, story, but it was really, we did well and won a lot. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times I lost, maybe, very few, same with Tommy, until I played him.
Right.
And it was one of those we just wanted to go ahead and make each other better, and he obviously got the better end of the stick a lot more than I did.
All right, let's talk about George and your transition to, I guess, primarily when you moved north to Plantation. Is that when you started to train, and what time frame was that, 14s or 16s, when all of your training moved out to the northern side of Broward County with perhaps Pierre and George? Is this happening at Wellaby? Where was this happening?
Good question. I was with Pierre. I was with Steve Rayner for a little bit, and Steve was the kind of guy, if you knew him or whoever knew him, he was a little nutty.
Yeah. Well,
He
I've
would
heard
show up in
stories,
his tank top, and our lesson was, you can't beat me, you stink.
Okay.
And of course, that's what he would tell me.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to go out there and try to do my best to beat this guy who's 20 years older than I am, and that's just, I fed off it. I loved it. And then we moved we moved to Plantation, and George Paris had a great academy. Steve was kind of a one-on-one versus an academy.
Yep.
So I would maybe take a lesson from Steve and then go to George's 4 days a week.
Okay.
And we were at Bonaventure, actually.
You're at Bonaventure. Okay. So
For a while,
Bonaventure, Welby, Bonaventure for George. Yep.
Exactly. Very good. Very good. And George just, he was the kind of coach where I respect the hell out of him because this is a guy that, I mean, every day would go out there and give 150%, scream, want the best out of you, would get the most out of you.
Yep.
We show up 1 minute late, we're running, and I fed off it. I fed off a coach, I mean, literally screaming at me saying, do more, do better. You know, you throw up, you get back on the court, and you work harder. And I loved it. He made some people cry. I absolutely fed off it.
Yeah. Who was with you during the times at Bonaventure, players wise? Who did you have a chance on a daily basis to grind it out with?
Jose Ayala,
Okay.
who's at Plantation now.
Big
I mean,
name,
just
yep.
yeah, superstar, 2 years older than I am.
Yep.
He was always top 5 in the state. Oliver Fernandez, if
Sure.
anyone knows him from Mexico.
Yeah.
Luis Herrera, every once in a while, will come from Kessels.
Gary Kessler, yeah, with Eddie Herman.
Jason, absolutely. Jason Raymond, once in a blue moon.
Yep.
Of course, I'm missing Mark Merklin, Dean Ehrlich.
Yeah, I remember.
we've had
Florida State, yeah.
So between Mark and Jose and Oliver and Luann Spadia was there, Andrea Berger. You know, when I'm 12, Andrea's 14. I mean, you know, we're just battling out there. Just a great group.
Did you have a chance at that young age to hit with Berger at all?
No, I didn't. It's actually a very funny story. I really didn't know Jay because he was older.
Sure.
But I went to high school with Dina,
Yep.
same age. Andrea, 2 years older. Their father was my periodontist.
Okay.
So, I mean, we lived in Plantation 2 streets down from each other forever.
Yeah.
Their parents, Paul and Carol, used to hang out with my parents.
Sure.
And even today, Paul goes on vacations with my parents.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I mean, it's amazing. So going back to Jay, the first time I think really even hit with Jay, I was probably 16 or 17.
Okay.
He was always, 4 years older, maybe way better.
Yeah.
Much older. I'm probably a little kid in his mind.
Right.
And he called me out of the blue. I think I was maybe 16, and said, "Do you want to hit?" And at first glance, I'm like, "Why is he calling me?" He probably called everyone else. Now he's calling me. And I don't know him. I know his sisters really well.
Yeah.
So we go out there, and this is a guy that I thought I worked hard. And I was on vacation at the time. I took a 2-week sabbatical after Kalamazoo when he called me, and I was fried. But my parents were like, "How do you not hit with Jay? The guy's top 20 in the world."
Right.
I get out there. He's hitting every ball as hard as he can. He's running down every ball like there's no lines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the guy's nuts. I go, what is he doing? And he's working so hard, and he's actually getting on my case because I'm not playing balls that are out.
Right.
It was my first real awakening, like, oh my God, this guy, this is what it's like to be on tour.
Yeah.
And he was unbelievable. And
I'm fascinated
and
to know, where did you guys actually hit? Do you remember that?
I think in Bonaventure somewhere.
Bonaventure. Okay.
I think so.
Kyle Spencer, head coach, NC State University, has asked if, even at 14, were you thinking about dominating juniors or becoming a pro at that age?
You want to know? Good question. I never thought about pros in my life till I was 17.
Okay.
Never even crossed my mind. I just loved tennis, and fortunately I was good, and I worked hard, and I was ranked high, and I just wanted to play. The
Sure.
rankings were important to me, and being as good as I could possibly be. Pros, I said I thought only one thing: if I could ever even go to the U.S. Open, forget playing it. Playing it was a dream, not a chance in hell.
Yeah.
Go there, I'd be, oh my God, forget it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the 16s, 1988. This is an amazing group of guys. We see the emergence of Chris Kodos. Am I pronouncing his last name correct?
Chris Kokotis.
Kokotis, apologize, from West Palm
Yes.
Beach, Florida.
Yeah, great. From Vollier.
He and Mark Merklin ranked ahead of you 1-2 that year. Parks is 4, Lambert is 5, David Witt is 6. That's the top 6 in the state of Florida. You reached the quarterfinals at Kalamazoo, a loss to Patel. Will Bull was the number 1 seed. And who wins that term? Let's see if you have a good memory.
This is 16s?
16s.
I didn't win it.
You did not win it. A quarterfinal loss to Patel.
Yes, I'm not happy with Vimel that year. I have no clue.
A guy by the name of Mark Merklin.
He did.
Yeah, he won it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good for Mark. Yeah, I mean, I've known Mark and I trained together since we were 10. We used to sleep over each other's house.
Mark Merklin. That was exactly my transition. All right, give us Mark Merklin. Growing up with him, I don't know where he trained, so you can give us an inside information about him.
Mark's from Coral Springs.
Yep.
Jack, Kathy, his parents. We used to literally sleep over each other's homes. Trained with George Paris together.
Okay.
Had 2 hands on both sides.
No kidding.
I don't know if anyone remembers that. And he was, again, top three in the state always. He was a year older than I was, too.
Yep.
I remember we probably played a ton of times, but I remember one time I think we played at a designated. I think I went sixth in the third in three tiebreakers. Went through three pairs of shoes, five shirts. We didn't never wanted to give an inch.
Yeah.
And we were buddies.
Yep.
After the match, we probably went out to dinner with our families. But yeah, I mean, it's probably went to birthday parties together also. And Mark, I mean, he's at Woodfield Country Club. I get emails from him every day. Yeah, he's a good guy, class guy.
Yeah, I've never met Mark,
Yeah.
but again, he's a brand name in Florida, where as growing up, I'm probably 8 years behind Mark. Always wanted a chance to talk. Maybe I'll talk to him one day on the show, but it seems like it's Merklin, you and Chris and Ho. It's like the same names from the 12s and 16s. And so we'll transition into 89. Now, 89 was interesting for you. We'll go into that. You skipped, I think, your second year of 16s, and yet finished number 2 in the state in the 18s that year. This is 1989. 1989. Chris finishes number 1 in the state. But what's fascinating to me is the Kalamazoo in 1989. And I'm sure a memory, and I'd love to know what happens after the first round, because I wonder if you had an incredible journey in the back draw. But they gave you a very nice seed. They gave you the number 6 seed at Zoo in 1989. Take us through that first round. Ivan, you lost first round. Do I have that right?
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Navigate that tournament, how that happened. Obviously, you had to do something pretty special at Clay's Easter Bowl to earn the 6th seed. So give us a path what it was like in 89 in Kalamazoo.
Well, first year 16s, I believe I finished top 10 in the country. So you said I lost to Vimal in the quarters. I believe you.
Right.
And then, so second year 16s, I decided to play in 18s.
Correct.
And just did well. In the section did well, and then I played the hard courts, got to the finals. So my second year 16s, I'm in the finals of the 18s hard. Lost to a guy named Alexis Homebrecker. I don't know if anyone remembers him, just a monster serve and volley.
Okay.
Then play clay courts, and I get to the finals of clay courts in my second year 16s.
Okay, so you're confusing me for a second. You said hard courts, which is obviously U.S. hard courts is Kalamazoo. So what do you mean by hard courts?
Okay, no. Back then, there was the hard courts,
and then there was
clay courts, and then Kalamazoo.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Just learned
yes.
that tonight. Okay.
Yes, which means I'm older than you. I don't like hearing that.
There's a couple years in cap.
A couple years. A couple. Come on, stop. More than that. So, finals of hard courts in 18s in my second year 16s.
Interesting. Okay.
Then I go to Clay's. I get to the finals of Clay's and lose to Chris Kokotis, who I go, how do I? And Chris was amazing. How do I lose to Chris, who's a serve and volley around clay?
All Florida final. Yeah.
Yep. There.
Now,
then go to
clay courts in Louisville. Do I have that right?
I think so.
Yeah,
or Lexington or one of those. Yeah.
Should be Louisville. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then go to Kalamazoo, and I gather I'm seeded 6.
Yes.
Playing up, and I play Hector Navarez, who I remember, who when I first looked at the draw, I go, I'll say shit, because the guy is one of those guys you don't want to play. Where if he's on, you're in trouble. If he's off, it's a 1-1.
Right.
That day I played, I don't remember honestly, and I remember he was on, and I lost. I remember it was on one of the center courts at Kalamazoo, the first one actually, on the left, closer to the microphone. I mean, I know where it was. He beat me probably 3-4, 4-4, and obviously at number 6, you lose in first round at Kalamazoo stinks.
Yeah, it's tough.
And I didn't like it. I was pissed, and that was it. But I mean, Hector was one of those guys you just didn't want to play. And ironically, we went to the University of Georgia together.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy.
So Hector's one of those matchup guys where on any given day it could be a terrible matchup or a beautiful matchup just on the kind of day that Hector's having. Is that fair to say? Every
ball is 2 inches above the net flat,
okay.
And he has a one-hand backhand that he takes on the rise.
Yeah.
And you want no part of him if he's on.
What section was Hector representing?
He's Puerto Rico.
Oh, Puerto
Caribbean.
Rico. Okay, very nice. All right.
Yeah.
Did we do anything in the back draw? Any magical runs? Win about 5 or 6, 7 rounds?
I don't know.
Nothing
Good
that
question.
stands out. Yeah.
No, nothing that stands out. Don't know.
Okay.
Don't know.
All right, 1990, huge year. I mean, huge year. All right, so leading up to 1990, we'll start with the winter, January, February. There's a lot going on. Let's start with the Easter Bowl, a win over an incredible player, Will Bull, in the finals. Obviously, we'll talk about the Will Bull match, which is probably, I would assume, the greatest Kalamazoo final of all time when you're talking about 7-6 in the 5th. But leading up to Zoo, there's a lot. talk about the Easter Bowl. I assume in '90 it was at the Doral in your backyard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Very good.
What can you remember about the '90 Easter Bowl, which was your first year of 18s?
I remember the winner got a Ratto watch,
Okay.
and I won the Easter Bowl in 14s, and I got an Omega watch.
Okay.
So it's one of those where I liked looking at the trophies.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it was one of those where I remember playing a 10 under tournament, went to Disney World,
Yeah, the
and on
contemporary.
the trophy there was a Mickey Mouse,
Yeah.
and I go, I gotta have that, and I got it.
Yeah.
So 18s, yeah, I played really well that year. I played Patel in the semis.
Okay.
I remember beat him pretty soundly, and played Will, and Will and I just, I mean, we were both so darn hungry. We're fighters on the court,
Yeah.
and we're buddies too. We actually the year the year before, I think it was, or in 16s, second year 16s, we both did not have doubles partners. And I'll go back to what you said in a second.
Okay.
And so we asked each other. I mean, I think either no one wanted to play with us, or
Okay.
we just, who knows? We played each other for the first time, and we got to the quarters of the first hard courts.
Okay.
And then we won Clay's, and we won Kalamazoo.
No kidding.
Will and I.
I
playing with each other.
don't know. I didn't see that
Yeah.
in all the archives. So you and Will won
Two nationals.
Kalamazoo and Clay's together.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 tournaments. Yeah.
No kidding, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And all we did was just hit the ball as hard as we could and had fun, and we just played well. So anyway, going back to what you said was Easter Bowl, won the Easter Bowl. So all of a sudden, things are great. I got one in the country in my first year 18s.
Yeah.
And then the next thing that's coming up is the USDA national team.
Yes.
Way back when, you had to try out for it.
Okay.
First year, then they did away with it, and then they chose people to be on the team. And I was always obviously top 1 or 2, 3 in the country my whole life. They picked the team, and I wasn't on it.
Wow.
So I win the Easter Bowl. I really haven't lost a tournament in the section. They picked the team, and now I'm not even going to Europe. So I'm calling the USTA, and guys, I just want to go. I don't care about the team. I don't care about wearing whatever Adidas or Nike. And because I won, they're like, okay, we'll invite you to go with you. So we'll invite you to go with the team. So we go to the Italian Open Juniors, and I'm technically with the team, but not on the national team per se.
Sure.
Whatever. So we go there, and I start winning some matches on the red clay, first time on red clay in the Italian, and I win a round, and I win another, and now I'm in the third round, and everyone else but me and Will Bull are still in the tournament.
Wow.
And now I beat a guy who's 5 in the world, Hernan Gumi. I don't know if you remember that name.
No.
Like 6'4" in the third, 4 hours.
Okay.
And I'm in the quarters, and I beat another guy who's top probably 15 in the world. And then I play the guy in the semis who beat Will Bull, Dino Pescario.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that name. He played on tour, got up to about 150 in the world.
Okay.
And I remember this actually pretty well. I'm in the semis. I play the guy that beats Will, and the USTA coach at the time. It was like good luck and everything. I'm the only American left. I'm in the semis of the junior Italian, which is, in my mind, enormous.
It's huge.
And
Yeah.
I go, what do I do? He goes, well, the guy's got a good forehand. He's got a solid backhand. He serves pretty damn well, and he just beat Will. Will's great. I'm like, oh, thanks.
I could
vote of
have
confidence
told
here.
you that too. You know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I do know that. I do know that. And I will not play Will Bull anytime now. The guy plays too much tennis.
Yes.
So I go out there, and I'm like, what the hell do I do? And I zone, and I win 0-0 in the semis of the Italian. I just play out of my mind.
Wow.
Then I play amazing. Then I play Oliver Fernandez,
Sure. Yeah.
who I was buddies with, who used to
Local
train
guy,
with him.
yeah.
Local guy who actually, at the time, I left George Paris to go with Tom Parks.
Okay.
And Oliver was coached by George, who was there.
Wow.
So it was one of those where emotional. We're friends, my old coach, and I beat Oliver 5-2. I remember that. So now I win the Italian Open.
Yeah.
I haven't lost this whole year yet. I've won 2 designated, the Easter Bowl, now the Italian. So I go from nothing in the world to I think maybe 20. No
Okay.
idea. Then I go to Belgium, and the whole national team loses first round. We just all get crushed. I go to the French, where I'm seeded, I think 16, because maybe I'm 16 in the world or whatever it was.
Right.
And I'm nervous as hell because it's the French Open.
French Open.
Again, these are tournaments, on TV. I never dreamed of even
This
going
is your
there.
first Grand Slam, junior Grand Slam.
First time in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time. So I win the Italian. Belgium, go to the French.
You didn't play all.
Oh, first one.
First one.
No, first one. And go in there, and I get to the quarterfinals.
Okay.
So now I'm 10 in the world, whatever number I am. And I guess moving forward, now they're going to Wimbledon, and I wasn't selected to go to Wimbledon because they already chose them before the Italian.
Right.
I'm like, guys, I haven't lost to an American yet. I just won the Italian, quarters of French, and
Yeah.
I go, take me. I go, I don't care if I play qualifying.
Right. Can I stop
So
you for 1 second, Ivan?
stop. Go ahead.
I'm dying to know, and I think probably people watching are as well. I'm going to assume the coach is Saviano. I'm going to guess
Yes.
that, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Give me the team because I want to know who this team is.
It
The gentlemen that were picked over you.
It's Chris Kokotis, great. Jonathan Leach,
Okay.
great. I was ranked higher. John will tell you I was ranked higher. John. Will Bull,
Okay.
you
So
know,
Bull was
solid.
on the team. Okay.
Bull's on the team, and I think there was one other, Brian McPhee.
Okay.
Remember lefty? Brian, solid.
Yep.
So end of story. Just for whatever reason, it wasn't chosen.
It just
Whatever,
weren't
doesn't
chosen.
matter.
And I
Yeah.
hear that a lot. There's some great players that whether they were ranked higher, it was just Saviano had in his mind, these are my guys for whatever reason, respected or not. But that was it was on him. He chose it. And now we can continue on with your story. You take us to London. What happened in Wimbledon?
Sure. And no, nothing against Nick. And I'll say I actually interned for Nick after I played on
Sure.
tour.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It was
No
is
hard
what it is. Was what it was. Yeah. Whatever. I'm just I'm going to Wimbledon. I'm playing well. Go to Wimbledon. Get there. It turns out I get in the main draw. I actually play Ruzetsky second round.
Okay.
At the time, he's ranked high. Beat him.
Wow.
I remember I played Chris Kokotis, who's on the national team.
Yeah.
I'm not. Chris is a servant volleyer. One of those where we're friends, but yet we both want to win. It's on grass, obviously. I win 6 in the third.
Wow.
Big win. And then I'm now in the semifinals of Wimbledon, which first time I've ever hit a ball on grass, really.
Yeah.
And I lose to Leander Paez
Okay.
in the semis, which he ended one in the world that year. I ended number 4.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this is all. Now, how are you able to do any schoolwork? I know that's a random question during this time, but you're only a junior. Is that right? In high school?
I'm a senior, actually. I was
You're
a young
at the
senior.
time. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So what are we doing? You take it on the road?
I'm in a public school, taking it on the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are
Pretty
we
much had a
at
choice.
Plantation or South Plantation?
Plantation.
Plantation.
Plantation High. Yes.
Okay. So now, after all of the European tour concludes, it is time to head to Michigan.
Very good.
How exhausted were you going to Kalamazoo after all that?
Pretty damn tired.
Yeah.
Done. Fried.
Yeah.
Fried. I haven't lost all year, really, and winning, and I'm exhausted.
All right. They gave you the 1 seed. Give us the Kalamazoo story if you can.
I call actually 2 weeks before Zoo, Michael Flanagan to play doubles.
Okay.
I have no doubles partner.
Still no doubles partner.
No doubles partner for whatever reason.
No one wants to play with
No one
Ivan
cares.
Barron.
No one cares. I called you. You didn't call me back.
I would have played. I was 10 years old. You just had to convince my parents. We would have done it. We would have done something special. Go ahead.
Gotcha. I won a few gold. I mean, I won a lot. Who knows? So everyone pairs up, and I'm looking down the ranking list. Literally, everyone's got a partner. Right. I call Michael Flanagan, who's like next in line, who I know him, not well, but know him.
Yeah.
I go, Mike, any interest in playing doubles at Zoo? He goes, I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Hangs up, calls me back. He goes, I'm in. He goes, done. I go, what'd you do? He goes, you don't want to know. I go, got it. I read between the lines. So I go to Zoo, seated, whatever, one in singles, I don't know, in doubles. Go there, and I mean, I'm confident. I'm playing well. I'm winning. I'm just feeling great. I play a tight match, I think, with Gusky in the quarters, maybe it was.
Yeah.
Or third round, he'll tell you. And Gusky's down here. He's a fun guy. Semis.
Played Witt, right?
Was it Witt? I don't even remember semis, actually.
It
Could be.
Witt when I was looking at
be.
that draw today.
Don't know. Don't even remember,
Witt.
actually.
I mean, you're playing all Florida guys. Obviously, Bull's not a Florida guy, but trained in Haines City. But
right.
Gusky, Witt, Bull, if I remember correctly.
Is that sound right? Was Gusky that year or the year after? I don't remember, but one of the two.
I don't know.
It could be the year after.
May have been too young.
I think it was. Actually, it was. Gusky was the second year.
The second year.
So I beat whoever, then beat Witt, I gather.
Yeah.
Now, it's the finals on a Sunday, and I mean, tell you, I'm scared. It's a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
I mean, no one plays 3 out of 5.
No.
Playing Will Bull, who obviously is going to hit 900 balls in the court.
Yep.
Like me. We're not coming in too much. And I'm going to come in more than him, who's got it forehands lethal. And it rains Sunday. The whole day pours.
Okay.
I remember this. So now we have to wait a whole nother day. Now the nerves, the butterflies.
Sure, kicking in.
Exactly. And usually Kalamazoo's packed with people. Monday, it's, maybe half crowded. It's a Monday.
Yep.
And I believe we split the first 2 sets.
Yes.
I think I lost the first, won the second. Is that what it was?
Yes.
Third set, I remember I served forward at 5-4, served forward at 6-5, I was up 6-2 in the breaker and lost at 8-6.
Wow.
Lost it. And I don't get mad. Broke a racket.
Okay.
It's party's over. Done. Goodbye, U.S. Open. That's all we want, U.S. Open. That's it. Forget it.
Yeah.
And umpire goes 10-minute break. Had no clue. Get off the court. I'm with Tom Parks and my father. I'm screaming. I lost it. We're not going to New York. It's all I care about, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm sure Will does too. Turning pro never crossed my mind ever. Still, and he's like, calm down. It's okay. And I was usually pretty even keel on court.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is the biggest match ever. What am I doing? I choked it. I collect my thoughts. We go back 1 point at a time. Like actually, Nick Saviano did teach me that. That I give credit to him. Grinded out the fourth 6-4. And now we're going to the fifth and final with Will, which again, it's just honestly, it's all heart, and we're both doing whatever it takes. And we got to a breaker.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember match point. I just said, I'm going to hit this as hard as I can if it goes in. And we're both cramping a little bit too.
Sure.
And I mean, I just hit a backhand up the line, which was my shot. Hit a winner, fell down, could barely stand up, could hold the trophy barely.
Wow.
I mean, really, just Will and I couldn't even stand up, and we went out to dinner after. It was
That's
one of
an
those.
amazing story.
It was an incredible, match I'll never forget.
What? Okay, the 10-minute break is interesting to me. Is that the protocol after 3 sets are completed going into the fourth?
Never heard of it before, and now on the Pro Tour. It's not there. It could be.
Right.
I don't know the answer at all.
I would imagine the momentum was really on Will's side after winning that 3rd set tiebreaker. And the last thing that he can chime in, which is great to have both you guys here.
I don't want to hear Will. I want to hear nothing from Will.
What a momentum breaker for the guy that just takes that 3rd set. But the referee calls it. What was your reaction? What was Will's reaction to this?
Will, I have no clue. I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say it. If there was no 10-minute break, I would, without question, Will had the advantage. I mean, maybe
Sure.
6-2. We're going home.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, 4 set points. What am I doing?
Yeah.
Total choke. Yeah.
Well, it gave you a chance to cool off. It gave you a chance to talk to the right people on your team. That's a really nice tidbit that probably a lot of people don't know about. But it was there, and you took the opportunity and you ran with it. And Kalamazoo champion 1990. So I guess you're about 4 weeks away to the U.S. Open. Give us an idea of what was going on leading up to that.
Well, I'll tell you something cool. The day before, we won Kalamazoo doubles. Flanagan and I.
Yeah, you won doubles. Yes.
So it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
So we have a wild card in the singles and doubles now.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
And then what's even neat also is I got a wild card with Lisa Raymond in mixed.
No kidding.
It's kind of cool. So
Lisa Raymond Plantation.
yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so going to the Open, I'm now ranked 1 in the world in juniors.
Yep.
Win Kalamazoo, I'm now 1 ITF, and I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I'm playing tennis all the time, all
Yeah.
year. I play the main draw. I lose to Santoro.
Yeah.
Doubles, we lost to Florian and his partner. Mixed doubles, we lost to Woodbridge and Smiley, who won the Open.
Yeah, it's tough.
Just tough draws.
Yeah.
And then now I have to wait another week for the juniors.
Okay.
And I'm exhausted.
You're toast. You're done.
Toast. I'm done. I don't want to play. Obviously I want to play, but I don't want to play.
Yeah.
So I wait a week. I'm seeded 1. Obviously it's the Open. I get to the round of 16 where I play Pescario on center court on Arthur Ashe at the time.
Yeah.
And it was televised. I still have the tape. It was kind of neat.
No kidding.
So they televised on USA Network. If you remember that.
Yeah.
And I lost, 5-2. I know I played average. I mean, I remember. But, my parents are in the lower level box. The match was before Agassi's match. It's one of those things, certain things I remember. So other things I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
But, it was
That's a
kind of
big
cool.
thing to remember.
Kind of cool.
Robbie Robbins chiming in, Robbie Robbins, Boca Raton guy. I mean, I think most people would remember the U.S. Open Juniors and Kalamazoo stories that Ivan just alluded to. That's incredible. I mean, I can't even imagine going through that gauntlet. But when you're done with the U.S. Open Juniors, I mean, are you just like, okay, whew, can I try to become a normal 18-year-old, 17-year-old at the time? What was that mindset like after the U.S. Open Juniors concluded?
Good question. I tell you, going into the U.S. Open, it was the year after Tommy Ho won Kalamazoo at 15. So everyone was like high on a young American.
Yeah.
It was also the year that Lendl signed with Mizuno.
Sure.
So at that time, I'm 17. I'm 1 in the world. The agents are calling my parents and asking if I'm going to turn pro. And I already signed with the University of Georgia.
Yes. Yeah.
So the coach was like, "Are you going to school? What are you doing?" And in truth, I really never thought of pro. I mean, I always just wanted to play tennis.
Yep.
So I lose to Santoro. Then the week later, I lose in the round of 16 of the Open. And my parents are like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I honestly don't know. I just want to take a break."
Yeah.
They're like, "You know something? Go to Georgia, go a year at a full scholarship, and see what happens.
Sure.
You know, enjoy it. You're a young kid. You could always turn pro. You can't go back to school."
Okay.
And I went to Georgia, just like that. That was it.
Give us your UGA experience in the beginning stages.
You know, Manny Diaz was the coach.
Yep.
We had an awesome team. I mean, Al Parker, Wade McGuire, Patricio Arnold. I mean, Al and Patricio were both top 5 in the country.
Yeah.
I played 3. Bobby Marinchek was great.
Raleigh?
Jack,
Yeah, he lives in Raleigh.
yeah, great. I mean, he actually was probably our MVP that year. He was amazing. Jack Frierson. We just had a great team. So it was my experience was it was good. Meaning, college was UGA was great, but my tennis suffered.
Okay.
I was used to one-on-one with George Paris, him yelling at me every day. That's
Yeah.
how I was brought up since I was 11.
Yeah.
College is here's a team, go work out a little bit on your own, kinda cross court down the lines, different mentality.
Sure.
So my game went from here to here. No one's fault. Just it was
you
what it
lost
was.
your edge. I mean,
Absolutely,
you
absolutely.
lost your edge. You're at
Yeah.
UGA. You're between the hedges. There's football. There's women. There's less pressure on training. It's easy to do that, and
Yeah.
that's what probably happened, right?
Different. It just for whatever reason, correct. And
Yeah.
then after a year, I was All American. You know, I had a nice year. The guys on the team were great guys. It was one of those things where if I'm going to turn pro, it has to be now, or it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
So
how I turned pro.
1 year at Georgia.
Yes.
1 year at Georgia. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Any regrets not going the distance, or are you good with that?
Zero regrets.
Zero regrets. Okay.
I mean, I played on tour 5 years, then coached college for 4 years, finished my undergrad, and then I coached at Florida Atlantic at University of Miami.
Oh wow.
And yeah, both for assistant coach under Mike Whelan and Jay
Mike
Berger.
Whelan?
Yeah, Mike was great, and Jay at Miami.
What?
And
Wow. Give me the year. Give me the timeline at FAU.
so what happened was I finished playing on tour 5 years, and I was done. I mean, I was going to stop after 4. We're like, let's give it one more shot. Got up to 150 doubles, 210 singles.
Yeah.
So I'm 21 years old. I go, I'm done. I just don't want to play anymore. So I said, well, I want to finish my undergrad and get my master's. And I call every college in the country that I thought would be fun to be at. Scottsdale, Richmond, just anywhere, UCLA. And I'd call the coach and say, simply, my name's Ivan Barron. And the majority, fortunately, knew who I was.
Yeah.
I said, I want to be an assistant coach, get tuition paid for, maybe some salary if you want, and I want to teach on the side. And, it's not, there are not a lot of assistant coaches job open because, there's just not. And also, I wanted to only go to a certain number of schools.
Right.
So I was actually going to go to Alabama with Joey Reve.
Sure. Yeah.
Who was, again, good guy, just decided not to go there. And then Mike called me at FAU. He goes, we'll do whatever you want. So I lived at home, was there 2 years, 2.5 years actually, finished my undergrad there.
Oh, wow.
Did pretty well, and was coaching on the side. And at the time, we had a court at our house. So I was actually coaching 4 days a week at my house, 3 of the top 6 kids in the state in boys 12s.
What
On
year
the
is
side.
this?
This is 96, 97, 98. Something like that. So
Okay.
guys like Josh Browser, Alex Probst,
Yeah,
they would come over
They're
there.
younger than me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they'd come over the house and we'd play tennis.
Wow. I
Yeah,
remember Josh
and
Browser. He was a little
little
punk
nice,
at Rick Macy's when he was like 3 or 4 years younger. I remember Josh Browser. Yeah.
Yeah,
What a fascinating story. So
yeah, neat.
you're with Whelan in 96, 97.
96 through 99-ish. Yeah, 97, 99. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember.
2.5, 3 years.
Mike wanted me to come. I was.
Oh, and Adam Fass. You're right. Adam Fass was over the house. Oh my God, I forgot about
Mike
Adam.
really wanted me to come to FAU. I'm a Boca guy.
Yeah.
It would have. Yeah, I just didn't want to stay at home and
Sure.
wanted to play in a ACC, but I ended up at NC State. But and don't worry about that. But I had no idea you were at FAU, and then you went to Miami after FAU.
Correct. I graduated. Well, I was graduating FAU, finished my undergrad, and Mike asked me to coach the women's team for a semester. So I was the head coach of the women's, and then Jay calls me at Miami. Go, Ivan, we need an assistant, and I wanted to start my MBA anyways.
Wow.
So
And
I worked
this is
under Jay.
before or after Getz?
This is before.
Before Getz.
Before I left. Getz came in.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. And I've known Brian forever as well. Brian's awesome.
All right.
Yep.
let's backtrack before FAU, before Miami as a coach. Um, there's some good stuff here in your pro career. I mean, the '95 win over Larson at the Red Clays. Can you go through that story for us?
Yeah, I mean, I was the guy. It was in Coral Springs.
Yeah,
My father obviously gives me a wild card. I mean, come on.
yeah,
And I play the guy who's 11 in the world. Uh, I go out there and Larson's 11. I mean, I just did whatever I could and I won. In front of buddies. I mean, it was a hell of a win.
yeah,
I remember 5-2 or 5-3,
yeah.
and obviously boosted my ranking. I lost the next round to Pereira, which I was pissed. Um, Nicholas just played well. It was one of those where I thought I should have won.
Yeah.
And, I kind of had that little, notch where I got a pretty good win.
That's a great win. And
Yeah.
before that '95 win, the year prior at the Red Clays, you teamed up with Tommy Hogue. Do I have that right?
We did, and we got to the finals and lost to the Woodies.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's,
I think you undersold. Let's go back to '93, '94, '95-ish, the ups and downs of your professional career. Can you give us some highlights and give us some lowlights? The highlights of some tournaments you may have had some big wins, and the lowlights are like, were there injuries? Were there things that really just said, was there a turning point even at that time? I know the turning point was around, I guess, '97 when you cut it loose, but in '94, '95, give us those highlights and lowlights.
sure. I was on tour 91 to 96 actually.
'96
And
when you
yeah,
stopped. Okay.
yeah. But it's one of those where I was always winning. I mean, I'll say it like it is. I always just did very well from 11 to 18.
Yeah.
At Georgia, things, my game just didn't go up. It kind of went down. And then when I started playing on tour, I just did pretty well in doubles right away. So for all the times people don't want to play with me and I still win nationals and juniors, I'm now playing with Brian McPhee and Tommy Ho and who obviously are very good. So my doubles ranking was always better than my singles. And I always hovered around 200 to 300 in singles.
Okay.
Just could never really break that barrier. So I was playing challengers, ATP events, and it got to the point where I was actually playing qualities of a tour event, but main draw doubles. So, or a challenger main draw of singles and doubles.
Yeah.
And just could never really get to the semis of a challenger and singles. Just couldn't do it. Doubles would do well. Semis, finals, quarters. Just singles, for whatever reason, couldn't make that jump. And Furlan, who was 30 in the world,
Okay.
lost at the U.S. Open in doubles to Ivan Izovich and Rosé. Which these guys are players, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no gimmies.
No.
I just really couldn't break that barrier. Was seeded 1 in doubles at Wimbledon qualifying with Bupati. We were 1 out, lose 5 sets in the second round. It was one of those where it was just I couldn't get over that hill.
Okay.
And then after 4 years, I go And then the 5th year, I actually traveled with my brother to Europe, which was awesome. And he actually got in some qualifyings as well.
Nice.
Adam played at Florida State.
Yeah.
And we traveled together for 3 weeks. The next week, I played my final tournament. And I go, I'm done.
So,
And so I had the U.S. Open. I went to the Australian, qualies. I played tour events in Italy, South America, and then some very average satellites in India and South America. So kind of the
still a hell
whole
of a-
spectrum.
it's a hell of a career. Take me back to the day where you said it's over. Good feeling? Disappointment? What was the feeling?
I was actually playing doubles with God, I forgot his Jeff DeLulli or Jeff, forgot his name, and we
Okay.
played 3 weeks in Europe. I think Venice, Amsterdam, and Croatia or somewhere else. And I was supposed to play 1 more week with him, and we lost first round in Italy, and I had to wait 1 more week to go to Croatia. And I said, I am done. He
Yep.
goes, what do you mean? I go, I'm done. So I go, listen, I just can't go to Croatia with you next week. Went to player services. I said, get me on the next flight. Don't even care where it's going. Flew home, and I was done.
Okay.
That's how it ended, yeah.
And
I
it
was
felt
ready.
good.
Felt
It felt
great.
good.
I was ready. It was time. It was, about 6 months to a year over. But I mean, I gave it my last shot. I have 0 regrets. I mean, I love what I do now, and I was happy what I did then.
Sure. All right. And then obviously we went forward, we backtracked, and obviously when that career was over, the opportunity to finish your degree, undergrad at FAU, had a chance to work with Mike Whelan for about 3 years. Then the opportunity for an MBA at the U down in Coral Gables with Jay Berger. So give me your University of Miami experience in the Big East and coaching those guys in the early 2000s. Do I have my timeline right?
Yeah, you're right. First of all, college coaching is awesome. I
Yep.
mean, I love coaching, period. College, I coach my kids rec soccer, rec football. I absolutely love to coach. And I don't really coach tennis much at all now, and I would still do it, though. I just don't have time.
Yeah.
So we're at the U. Jay, going back to that story where Jay works hard.
It works
And
out.
we crush these guys. I mean, to the point where I almost said, Jay, I mean, these guys got to walk the next day. You know, I mean, literally, it was crazy. Our Tuesday, Thursday workouts, I would get to the office, and I lived in Plantation.
Yeah.
I'd be there. We'd start our privates at 7 and go straight to 1. So we're
Wow.
literally 5 privates each, 7 to 1 Tuesday, Thursday. I'm leaving my house at 5:15.
It's early. Yeah, that's a
And
long
yeah, I
drive.
mean, and then I was also doing my master's and coaching on the side.
Yeah.
So my days literally were, it ended at 10 at night after my 5 a.m. day.
Yeah, Chris is making a good point here. As Chris and I both played for Eric Hayes. Chris played at USF. I played at NC State. And when we talk about Eric Hayes, we talk about Morning Madness, and
Yeah.
that's a Jay Berger. That's a Chuck Creasy thing, and perhaps a Jay Berger thing. Did you guys work on those Morning Madness crazy runs early 5:20 a.m.?
You know, I don't remember the 5:20s, but I remember, I mean, we would take them to the track, and these guys would do, I don't know, 1080s or 1040s, 1080s, 10
Yeah.
110s, 10 120s, and then if the last guy didn't finish within a couple minutes, we'd do it all again. I mean,
Yeah.
it was nuts. Yeah,
This
we
is
worked them hard.
this is in the early. So I'm playing against Miami, but now they were Big East. I think we played them once, but we're talking Joel Berman,
Yeah, oh,
Todd
yeah.
Whittem, Andrew Gullo,
Not Todd. We're talking Joel Berman, Jose
And-
Lieberman.
Jose Lieberman.
Yeah, Mark Aerosmith.
Aerosmith, yeah, he was a sweetheart on the
Yeah,
court. Wasn't he?
yeah. Oh, lovable guy. I spoke to Mark. Yeah, Mark's fun.
Well, Mark's going to be Mark and Andrew Gullo are going to be launching Aero Bar, a revamp of that soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I have a chance to plug that. All right, so after your coaching career is over, at both FAU and Miami, do we get into is the family business on tap next? When we're okay, so give us that story.
Yeah. So after 2 years, I'm pretty much almost done with my MBA. I decided to work for our family, which runs the tour event at the time, and I actually finished my master's at FAU because I had 1 or 2 semesters left, and we just go all out. It's, you know, my father started it from scratch, America's Red Clay, you know,
Yep.
Challenger, and just grew it with my associate who's still with us, John Butler, who, you know, we're all workaholics. It's in our blood, our whole family, and we have an incredible staff. I've been involved now, I think, 17 years.
Wow.
My brother Adam's been involved for, I think, 6 or 7 years now. He's a lawyer.
Right.
John Butler's Marlena Hall. You know Marlena? Yeah,
I don't know her,
Marlena is the head coach at Broward College, but she was
Okay.
always top 20 in the country playing, growing up from Plantation. She's on staff.
Yeah.
So we have a great, family-oriented business where we have the tour event and we host about 30 state, national, and ITF junior tournaments.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
So the Clays, they start Sunday. Do I have that right?
Yeah, after we're done with this, I got to go back to work at my house and work on the clay courts. Absolutely.
All right, talk about the Clay Court Nationals. How important that is to the city of Delray.
The best. I mean, I'll say it. We book close to 2,500 room nights for, the whole area.
Yeah,
The county loves us because it's the slowest time of the year.
sure.
It's a mother. I mean, for everyone that used to just play in the event, like us,
Yep.
you have no idea what it's like running that event or even a tour event because there's no way to know. I had no clue.
Yep.
So this event, we have 8 country clubs involved and have almost 100 clay courts.
Wow.
So we have a staff with volunteers and umpires of, almost 100 people,
Sure.
involved with maintenance and site directors. So we have the registration on Saturday, College Forum, College Expo,
Yep.
and then the event's an 8-day event that starts Sunday.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So you're using lavers, obviously.
Actually, we're not. That's one site. That's a practice site.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
that's a practice site because the courts are better at Delray Beach Tennis Center.
Sure. Well,
Yeah, that's why.
I knew. I
Yeah.
figured lavers would be a satellite location, but I stand corrected. Okay.
Yeah.
So can you give us some satellite locations?
Sure, Boca West, great
yeah.
courts, Broken Sound, amazing. Boca Point,
Sure.
7 Bridges,
Okay.
Boca Grove.
These are spread out.
No, they're spread out and they're all
Yeah.
the courts are solid.
Yeah, they're solid courts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're we want to give the best for the best.
Yeah.
Practice sites, Woodfield, Boynton Beach, Swim and Racket Center. I mean, we're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, we take over the town.
You do. Jeff Joyce, Richard Senebar, all great
got it.
guys helping you out
Yep.
in this situation. Wow. All right.
Yeah, they're all giving back, Brian. I'll say it like it is. Without them, there's no clay courts.
There's no clay
Yeah,
courts. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, because the Clay Court Nationals, the Tennis Club of Lauderdale, what's fascinating back then, I'm sure the draw is bigger. When I played, it was 128. I'm sure it was the same when you played, but that was the only venue they used. So what's
Correct.
the draw size now for the
Okay,
Clay?
very good point. It went from a 128 to a 192
Okay.
to a 224.
Okay.
So we have two 224 draws. Thus, we have to use more courts.
When you
Yeah.
say two, you're talking about you have the girls there too?
No, we have the boys 18s and the boys 16s.
You have the boys 16s and 18s.
That's why we use so many sites.
You need a lot of courts.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need a
Oh, yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah,
courts.
yeah.
It is perfect timing because everyone's slow in the summer, so I'm glad it worked out. All right, I'm going to cut you loose. I know you have to go. Plug the Delray Beach Open. What can we expect in February 2020?
I'll make it easy. Everyone come to the Open.
That's it.
Jeff Mager's listening. If he's not there, I never want to speak to him again.
Wow. Okay.
Right. That's a big one, right? Adam Fass I saw is there. Come on.
I
Diego
wish I
Ayala.
can go. It's always a tough time because in January, going to be doing the Delray Beach Florida Tennis Association reunion at Labors. Thanks
I
to
heard.
Jeff Bingo.
Good.
So it's very difficult for me to come back down, convince my wife, and she'll probably kill me. But I will be there one day. I'd love to.
All right, I see Ernie saying hi. Jeff Cohen is an
A lot of
animal.
good people.
I mean, you're talking; these are all just good guys. So, it comes down to the Open. We have great relationships. I mean, between Del Potro, Nishikori,
It's unbelievable.
the Bryan brothers. Raonic, Kyrgios. I mean, we're going after all those guys, and
Yeah.
I mean, we're up to 61,000 spectators, and we're going strong. Things are
The
great.
field is unbelievable. Last year, I watched almost every minute of it on the Tennis Channel, and I saw my old coach, Lawrence Sagal, Del Air Country Club, in the front row. I don't know how he got those seats, Ivan, but
Yeah, he stole them. Yeah, I want them back.
they were right on the front row behind the baseline. Lawrence and his.
You got him. Hopefully he paid double, and then I'm fine with that.
He better have paid.
I agree.
All right, Ivan, I'm gonna let you go. Anything you want to say to Florida tennis the '90s?
Honestly, Brian, what you're doing, I mean, this is awesome. Because guys like Will and just everybody, Vimo, all the guys that I grew up with, we don't see each other, talk to each other anymore. This is kind of like giving back is what you're doing. I think it's just great. So I thank you for that.
Thank you. Pleasure to chat with you, and I hope to one day eventually cross paths.
You better come to Delray in February. I mean that.
I'll be there. I'll be there in January.
No, I'm talking February. No more interviews.
No more. All right. Thank you, Ivan. I appreciate
See you, Brian.
your time.
You be good.
All right. There he is. Ivan Baron. There he was. Ivan Baron. An incredible player, an incredible story. Wow. Another one. We have so many amazing stories and another amazing player in the state of Florida, and Ivan Baron is definitely one of our legends. All right. So a little bit of a break until my next interview with a guy who did not have a great junior tennis career. Why? Because I was much better than him. And when I am much better than you, you have problems. Michael Yanni, one of my very good friends from Boca Raton, Florida, had an amazing career at Duke and an amazing pro career. And we are going to learn how he became a very average Florida tennis player in juniors to an incredible pro player. I mean, this guy played the longest match, I believe, in the history of the French Open. We're going to learn his story on Sunday, July 21. Michael Yanni, he will be joining me from Hawaii. I think that is 6 hours behind, so he'll be at 2 p.m. his time, 8 p.m. our time, Sunday, July 21. Thank you, everybody, for the kind words. Jeff, Chris, Ernie, Ryan, everybody who tuned in, thank you so much, Will Bull. And I'm really happy that Will Bull was here because it's amazing to listen to the story of Kalamazoo while Will Bull is chiming in and listening at the same time. So there it is. Good night, everybody. Have a great week ahead, and I will see you guys on the page as we always do every single day on Florida Tennis the 90s.